I don't want to work every day. I want to party every day.
Here I am, I see something, I want to contribute, and it comes naturally for me to
be a guinea pig when it comes to
yellow diarrhea.
Interesting. When my baby is born, do I just give it LSD?
just do it.
I don't need drugs, I'm traveling.
You keep your asshole tight.
The DAOs are in the house. Let it rip.
Wait, I have an intro for today.
Okay, let's do it.
Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth motherfuckers sitting in my throne again. I'm mad, he mad, but I ain't stressing. True friends. One question. Bitch, where were you when I was walking? Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta.
Woo!
Hello, King Kunta. Welcome
Hello,
to the
hello.
podcast.
Thank you for that nice introduction. Fitting
I,
for a king.
yes, I thought we'd go with that. Maybe for everyone that don't know who you are, we can say that you are one of the key contributors at ShineDAO, helping us with everything. In essence, but maybe you
Yeah.
would have a different description of yourself.
I'd probably describe myself as just the average Joe trying to help others with a common motive, get somewhere with our DAO, and yeah, bring a smile across a lot of faces and some money on the table. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's like it's
I'm not prepared for this.
it's about as vague as you can be.
I expected more
But
preparation from your side.
yes, I thought a crisp elevator pitch,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Like the ones I use for the projects that I'm arranging calls with these days.
Yeah, bullshit away. Sell yourself, as they say. You need to be able to sell yourself
Yeah.
for employees, employers.
I mean, the world of crypto is still so new to me that I recently realized that I don't know anything when I started arbing with Sync and all the hi-fi stuff he was talking about. I was like, wait, hold on, speak English to me. I can't understand what it's saying. So
Yeah, this is
yeah,
he.
pretty much.
It's not his
If I
fault,
have
but I always feel like that as well. Trying to understand. Yeah, he's too intelligent for me. I need to take him down to level where I can exchange information.
Yeah, it's like working with a genius and he has to take a step back every time so that we can catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think geniuses are always disappointed with the average Joes. So
You think so? I think he's a nice genius. It feels like he's just happy that we're trying.
yeah, that is for sure. Very encouraging and a very good person to talk to
Yeah.
about almost anything under the sun.
Yeah. Shout out to our pal Sinke.
Shout
It's
out to
one of the
Sinke.
yeah. Usually when we do shout outs, it's for people who we like haven't what do you call it? Like Elon Musk. Like shout out to our pal Elon Musk. This time we
Yeah.
actually know him.
I mean, we can shout out to him. It's you
There's
can't predict when he's hearing us and when he's not because he keeps engaging random people on Twitter.
also true.
So
Shout out to Elon Musk again.
Yeah, shout out to Musk. Come to our podcast, talk about Shiba Coin or whatever shit he wants to pump.
Yeah, do we have any shit to pump? I think we have the stable coin.
The stable coin.
Horse-themed stable coin.
Yes. For all the guys that love pegging, be a part of our stable coin.
I think it's actually lacking in DeFi right now. A stable coin that is like pegged to the ground, so you actually know the value of it.
To make one go down.
It's like what you do with electricity, you know. If you're having an overload in an electrical system, you need to ground it. And
Yeah.
I think you need to have the same in crypto, really. You need a grounded coin.
Yeah, where do you store the value usually? You dig it down underground.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the store of value. A treasury.
I think if we could go back to the past, then if we can peg a coin to the value of Bitcoin in 2010, I don't think it's gonna go below that anytime soon in future.
That's
So-
very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we peg a coin to like the entire price evolution of Bitcoin?
So that would become very easy to predict the
Yeah.
pumps and dumps.
Yeah, that's what. Yes. Very predictable, so it's stable in that sense. You know what to expect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, would be a interesting experiment to run.
Yeah, like do you
I don't
think?
know if NXO would be up for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if you could like fake it, like as an art project, that you make a coin and you make sure like you control the supply so that you can actually like control the price fluctuations of it and see if someone understands that it's just pegged to it's just doing everything that Bitcoin already did. If someone is trying to predict by other means, you know, it's going to be fun to see if they try to if they think that they can understand what's going on.
I think you would need a lot of capital maybe needed to
Yeah.
simulate exactly that price. But
That's true, mint and burn and shit.
if you manage to come with a good enough white paper, I think the sky's the limit here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
If you have
true.
one, yeah, I guess it's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
If we get Elon Musk on the show, I think he can help us to amass the capital we need for that project.
Help me out here. I think I solved the problem here. You create one NFT and you call it Bitcoin. And then you just what do you call it? When you buy your own NFT, you just wash trade it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it like every day, but you do it every week or every month, and you make sure that the price is equal to
That's actually a pretty fun art project.
Yeah. But you would, I guess how many is it? 10%? Like what's the fee for from? Well, yeah, you don't have to do it through OpenSea. I guess you can just send it through yourself, so you get the nice graph.
So what you actually end up having is the history is the art project.
Yeah.
In the end.
Shout out to anyone who wants to create a Bitcoin NFT.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Come to the podcast. You as well.
Okay, so I want to like, what do you call it when you bite? I want to bite, hugga in Swedish.
Yes.
On some of the things that you said when you explained who you are. You said you're an average Joe. Oh, I got like really much phlegm in my throat there.
Yeah, I don't think average Joes are notorious for doing that.
Okay, you said that you were an average Joe and that you're just trying to help out. Is this something that have you always been like this, or when did you like why do you want to help out?
I've not always been like this. When I was starting out, so let's go back to the day I met Mr. Rock. So I was this moderator at a big esports Discord server based out of India, and I was into a couple of for hire bounty hunting Discords as well. And one day I see this message from a guy named Mr. Rock that help us get people into our Discord and we will pay you XYZ dollars in ETH per person you get in. And I was like, whoa, man, I can become a millionaire overnight. So I decided to message him, and Mr. Rock sent me a short description of what he wanted me to do. There were quite a lot of details that I skimmed through because I was like, yeah, the Discord that I'm managing right now has over 60K members. I can at least get 10% of them to join this Discord, the new one, and probably make a quick buck. But then when I started getting people in, Mr. Rock was like, "No, mate, that's not the type of people we want. You don't seem to have gone through the instructions quite well." I was, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I never even read what you sent. I just started inviting random people in. He was like, "No, that's not how we want it to be. These are the servers you need to go in, and you need to get people from these servers into the Shine server." I'm like, yeah, okay, let's give this give this a shot. And 2 days later, I was like, I think managed to get two quality uh people into the server. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing this. And yeah, and I went to sleep that night. And next morning, I wake up and I see there's $100 in ETH in my wallet, and Mr. Rock leaves me a message like, you were doing a good job, and this is just to let you know that we are not a scam and we're trying to build something good, and we appreciate your efforts. And that was at first I was like, whoa, why did this guy send me such an amount, because I hardly got two people in, and if he expects me to get $100 worth of people in, that's going to take me a lot of time. So I was like, damn, do I need to return the money if I can't get people in? And then, but then I understood why he sent it to me. uh, that he valued my work more than my effort, more than the results that I produced. And that's what inspired me to join Shine. And yeah, when I joined, I saw that the community is not very active and stuff because it was just starting to get built. And yeah, this was around I think the second round of seed sale, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think around there. That's what I remember as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So I decided, okay, let's increase our online footprint. Let's get a Reddit. Let's get some news out. And yeah, try to do my best during the initial days. And I was still learning what Shine is about. I didn't know that Shine actually incubates projects. I was just thinking this is just another project, it's not an incubator. And I had zero knowledge about crypto. I didn't know. I just knew there is something called Bitcoin that is worth a lot of money.
you
So
had
And
this was your
yeah,
first introduction to crypto, more or less.
exactly. It was the
Perfect.
first introduction to a proper crypto setup. Before this, I just knew I heard of Bitcoin way back when I was in school at around, I'd say, 2012 or so, when people started talking like, yeah, Bitcoin. I mean, in India, it was still, it was just a word, Bitcoin. And then they would talk about how Bitcoin is used to carry out transactions in the dark web, you know, all the bad stuff. And so, yeah, it was always seen in a negative view. But nowadays, when people in the West have already realized what Bitcoin stands for, and people in India and some parts of the eastern side of the world. Not all of them. Some still don't know. I think places like the Indian neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, they still don't have a lot of clue about decentralized currencies and blockchain, so to say. But news travels slower to the eastern part of the world, but people are starting to realize. But still, I'd say 90% of them still see it as a pump and dump, so to
Mm.
say. Put money in today, by tomorrow you can become a millionaire. That's how I used to see it in the beginning. And
Yeah.
it takes time. It takes time to realize. It takes time, and it takes how do I say it? You have to put time into the ecosystem to understand what this truly is, because not all people read the white papers, not all people go through the literature, not all
Yeah.
people look beyond the price of the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is
Some I think I still see
Mhm.
it in a way as a pump and dump. I think like everything in the world is kind of pump and dumping all the time. So like anyone saying it like, yeah, this is a pump and dump, technically they're correct, but the regular currency system that we're in, I would also call it kind of a pump and dump. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't really add anything to the table. And what made me really think about it in a different light. I was already, way too deep back then. But when other people that started saying stuff publicly about how bad it was and all of these things, I think,
Mhm.
what's his name? Ray Dalio, for example, like all these people, and then they actually start looking into it, and then they just change their mind. That
Yeah.
was like yeah. So just what you're saying, you have to engage with it a little bit. If you're super skeptical, it doesn't hurt to just play around. You don't do it to get rich as a pump and dump. Just play around and see what it's about. And then if you really think that it's completely useless, nothing to do there, it's good. Then you can just move on, and you don't have to worry. Like then you've tried it, you didn't like it, not for you. Go do something else, and I think you'll probably have a better time. But that thing is difficult to get someone to do it in that way, not to do it to get rich, not to do it because they're afraid of anything, but just to see what it's about. It doesn't, when you're saying it, yeah, Discord server, talking a little bit, writing to some people, getting some money. I mean, it doesn't sound like a pump and dump to me. It sounds like an exchange of a value. It's a bit vague, but still like an exchange between people, nothing more,
Yeah.
nothing less.
Mhm. I mean, life is an exchange
Yeah,
between people.
yeah, it
What
is.
more is life? There is no meaning to life.
Yeah.
You do life
Finally,
Mm.
without.
these questions.
My
Yeah,
Indian
I've
colleague
been.
told me that Sweden is the land of karma for him because it's a
Mm.
part of his dharma.
Mm.
Uh, but
Mhm.
how do you see upon the world, King Kunta? Because you and your kinspeople, I always find people coming from India being very. They have thought a lot more about the nature of things compared to Western Europeans. Maybe they don't think so much.
I'd say India is like a well, and people inside are like the frogs trapped inside the well. And I don't mean this in a bad light, but everything when a frog moves out of the well and goes on to discover the land on top, the vast open grounds in front of his eyes, he doesn't know. He feels like he doesn't know anything, and he has to learn everything from the bottom up again,
Mm.
because it's
Mm.
not the environment inside the well anymore.
Mm.
And there are good like there are advantages to it and there are disadvantages to it. Disadvantages being there are a lot of ways you can get hurt if you don't know certain things, financial things, I'd say,
Yeah.
and you jump right in because somebody sold you a dream.
Yeah.
And the advantages is that you're more willing to jump into certain things that more educated folks wouldn't, and one of these might end up making getting you somewhere in life.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I see this as a balance, in a good way. But yeah, people in India, I'd say, are still living inside a well where any frog from outside the well can come in and start a huge Ponzi scheme and get the hell out of the well before they even realize what the fuck happened.
I really wonder who came up with a Ponzi scheme. I know Ponzi wasn't the first Ponzi
No.
schemer. It's
No,
like
no.
for forever people have been Ponziing. So I just assume that people would have learned by now collectively. But in Sweden, think it's kind of similar. 10%, 20, maybe 30 even. Think has no idea. Like yeah, this is an obvious Ponzi. You know, like it couldn't be anything else than a Ponzi. How like if some people I think understand that it's a Ponzi and they realize, okay, I think I'm one of the first into the Ponzi, so I can still make money. And
Yeah,
but if everyone thinks like that, then they're also falling for the Ponzi. That's just how they sell you the Ponzi.
exactly. It's like I got beat by the Ponzi last time. This time I'm gonna beat the Ponzi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly like
Go
this.
in anyway.
Yeah, this is a fun to Ponzi around a little bit.
Let's maybe that could be the Boy and Badger Chronicles. We do a deep dive into Ponzi schemes, and we do a documentary about the history of Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, I think I saw a guy on YouTube actually going into one of these pump and dump Ponzi's on Discord and explaining like because it's not regulated, so it's a completely legit thing to do. Open a Discord chat and say, "Hey, we're doing some pump and dumps." But
Yeah.
then the Ponzi is that they're saying, we'll pump up the price and then we get all the suckers to buy and then they just sell. Like the ones that arrange the Ponzi, they just, buy before everyone else buys. And then when
Yeah.
everyone else pumps it up, they just sell. It's fun. It's just really
Ponzi
retarded.
within a Ponzi.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very nice.
It's like you get people in. It's like the old school multi-level marketing
Yeah.
shit,
But
you
it's the
get
same.
people in and you feed off of them and then you leave before they realize what the hell is happening.
Yeah. I think a lot of people
And
see
then
both.
they have to feed off a lot of more people by getting them in.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, like number of people inside the pyramid remains the same. It's just people who got in early get out early.
Yeah.
And people who got in late have to search
Hey.
for newer victims in order to get themselves out.
Yeah. This is the world that it works. Feels like. I think what do you call it? The whales, like people who got rich off Bitcoin or Ethereum early on. I'm not so sure that they even. I don't think they care that much. All of them for Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's like I made some money off of this thing. Better smart to leave, buy a house or something that people actually want before it loses value. And some that's what I see it like the first a lot of the projects that I see, it's like, okay, how do the coin increase in value? Like, what's the value of this project? Well, the more people we get to buy the coin, or the more coins people buy, the more value of the project. Well, it sounds a lot like a Ponzi, right? I mean, if I don't say anything else. So in order to make it not a Ponzi, people talk about utilities. Okay, what's the utility? Blah 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 blah. And all the utility usually becomes, you can vote or do anything like this. But the utility that I see, and now I'm like gonna, what do you call it, just shield my own project or like shield Shine, because the way that I see the value here, it's not that like the more people buy the token, the better for us, but the more projects we can invest in high quality and the more exchange we can do with like together within the community, that's where the value is, because I can take better decisions outside of the community and I don't really care what happens to the price at all. Because if the price is low, then I can actually buy more and I will own more of the treasury. And as long as we take good decisions, the treasury will grow. So like for me, that's always, and at any point we can have a decision and a vote and say, let's just liquidate. We have a lot of stuff in the treasury. Let's just sell it and airdrop it to everyone who owns it. And if there's 1 million people, it's difficult to take care of. But if it's few people really interested in doing a lot of good job, exchanging a lot of value in between each other, I mean, I couldn't see a smarter way of doing it. And I hope that this is how most people are beginning to think in order to avoid all the Ponzi. It's just, yeah, it's a bit fun, but once you've seen one or two, then they look kind of similar.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Ponzi is everywhere. Take the example of Uber. What is the utility of Uber? You book a cab, the driver drops you off to your destination, pay the driver, Uber takes a cut, it's settled.
Yeah.
But what about the referrals though? Get 3 people in to use Uber and you get 3 rides free.
You want to hear a secret? Do you want me to share a secret with the world? I used to work. Man. I used to work with credit cards, a credit card company, and credit card. They are earning money from the same way that Uber is doing it, and it's kind of, it is a Ponzi in one way, but it's even bigger because they have their own currency.
Yeah.
The Uber points, like to have Uber points that you can use on Uber, that's a currency in itself. And Uber are the central bank. They decide the supply. They decide how you can use it. They decide everything. And they can put it on their balance sheet. And they can sell these points to other companies as marketing. Like they will buy it and give it to their customers as marketing. It's the same as the airline.
Airline bonus
This
points.
is a deep rabbit hole for people that want to, but like airlines that have their own reward point system, the entire reward system is worth more than all of the rest of the airline. So that's why flights are so cheap. Like one of the reasons, it's ridiculously cheap compared to what you get and all the things that needs to go into it.
Because they make points.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper for me to take a flight, than take the train inside Sweden where I live. Don't dox me, please. Yeah, but it's true. Like, if it's crazy, it's really crazy. And one of the reasons is this. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, but if you just, I'm really interested in money. Like, what is money? How does money work? All that type of thing. And the fact that you can have your own currency, you can decide everything what you do with it. That's not many companies can do it, but if you can, it's very lucrative.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's called the Cantillon effect. I don't know, I'm not a good financial guy, but because I'm from science background, but I think that's what it's called.
The what effect?
Cantillon effect, I think, creating a growth company, then somebody invests in your company and you act like a bank and start printing your own money.
Cantillon effect. Good. Close to money.
Cantillon.
Exactly. You want to be close to the money.
Yeah, it's spelled C-A-N-T and then illion, like million.
Yeah.
I was reading a tweet last day and that somebody was saying there are only 2 ways to gain significant wealth, and not a lot of people know. They think trading is the way to go, but it's not. Trading is just a sum of, it's just how do I say, at the end the net result of your gains and losses are always going to be zero in trading. But if you want to gain a significant amount of wealth, there are just two ways to do it. One is create or invest in a Cantillon effect, and the second one is doing ARBs, arbitraging.
Hmm.
In one,
Interesting.
you print your own money, and in the other, you hunt down and take advantage of inefficiencies inside the market. So
So but
makes
couldn't
sense
that
to
be
me.
trading? Like trading in the sense that you buy something from one place and you sell it to another place. So that would technically
Yeah,
be a trade, but it's an arbitrage trade.
but it's arbitrage. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Technically, arbitrage is supposed to be risk-free, right?
Yeah,
Trading
Yeah.
is
There's
supposed to be filled with risks.
yeah.
supposed to be. There's always some kind of risk involved. Counterparty risk,
Yeah,
inflation risk, monetary risk.
a lot of the arbitrage in DeFi, I think is more risk than people get. It's like you can't call
Mhm.
something arbitrage. I mean, you can, but there will always be some risk. You still need to buy something from a. There's always counterparty risk. There will always be some type of risk, just the random risk that when you make a transaction, it doesn't go through and you lost
Yeah,
your.
smart contract risk. Yeah.
Yeah, all
I
of
Yeah.
think
those.
you would be the
uh,
perfect person to highlight all the risks, but I think one of the main risks that I faced was the liquidation risk on DoD protocol. And then
mm,
like a noob, I just went all in for the arbitrage, forgot to keep some aside in
mm,
case the surplus exchange balance goes down to zero. And
yeah.
it went down to zero, and I didn't have money. I
Oh
got
fuck.
partially liquidated.
Mm.
But arbing was a very, I'd say, enlightening experience for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
How much did you know
Yep.
about finance before Mr. Rock messaged you to become an onboarder at ShineDAO? How much was your experience in
Yeah, I'd say
finance, financial instruments, and everything like that?
close to nil, because my dad, right? My dad never. We actually let's go back to my grandfather's time. So what
Yes.
happened was
Perfect. Shout out
my
to King Kunta's
grandfather,
grandfather.
my grandpa had to leave his home country, which was originally Bangladesh. But at that time, India and Bangladesh, they were not separate countries. They were the same. And uh, I'm not sure if the British were still ruling India, but I guess they were. And so Pakistan and India were also not different countries, right? They were all the same country and they were under the British rule.
Yeah.
And suddenly, the British decides to partition, to draw a border between Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. So the Indian nation actually becomes three separate nations. And the part of India where my grandfather used to reside was in Bangladesh originally. Now it's in Bangladesh, but that time it was in India. And Bangladesh and Pakistan were announced as Muslim states, whereas India was going to remain a secular state. So, and we were Hindus, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense to uh, stay in a Muslim state and face atrocities. So my grandfather, along with his elder brother and his younger brother, at the age of 7, decided to leave all the parietal land and all the money and all the belongings in Bangladesh and run off into the eastern part of India. And so they had to start all over again from the rock bottom,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so my grandfather hustled throughout his life. My dad was born, my grandfather married in India, and my dad was born, and my dad was taught from the beginning that only way you can earn money is by working hard and just working 24/7.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the mentality of the lower class and the lower middle class, you know.
Yeah.
The amount of work you put in is directly proportional to what you're going to earn.
Mm.
They don't think a lot on the lines of, okay, if I'm smart, then I can bypass a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But so that was the idea. My dad never knew that he can use his money to grow more money. He just knew that he had to work, put in uh, work hours at a company
Mm.
to grow money, to get money.
Yeah.
So he didn't know how to create money out of money. He knew how to create money out of mechanical work.
Mm.
Or maybe, you know, my dad was a software engineer, so not so much mechanical work, but yeah, some work for a boss or something. And
Yeah. Time for money or mental space for money.
Yeah.
yeah, time for money. Yeah, that would be the
Mm.
perfect definition. So that's how it was, and that's how I was taught, like, only way to success is hard work. And then I start growing up in, and obviously thanks to my grandpa and my dad's hustle, we appreciated in social status a bit. So we kind of got into the middle class, the, how do you call it, the bourgeois. I don't
Mm.
know, not
Yeah.
probably the bourgeois, but you know, the middle class where people tend to balance both sides
Mm.
and live by morals. An interesting quote my English teacher once said was like, uh, the rich don't need morals and the poor can't afford to have morals. Morals
Mm.
only find place in the heart of the middle class people.
Mm.
Very, very wise. Your English
Yeah.
teacher.
So yeah, we tried to go by the rule. That's what I was taught throughout my life. And then around high school, or probably just after graduating from school, I'd say, I learned from my friends that uh, it's not only putting in time that gets you money, but you can create money out of what you already have. And this is a concept that was new to me, and I was still exploring it. In university, I was looking into the traditional stock markets of India, of the world, trying to understand. So basically, whatever I know till now is self-taught, and I know a lot of it is wrong, and I still don't know probably 99% of what there is to know. But I try keeping up with knowledge. I try keeping up with the latest happenings, and in that sense, I'd say DeFi is really a blessing, because DeFi is just in its stage of evolution, right?
Yes.
So gives me another chance to revisit TradFi during its evolution without going back in time. I keep a close eye on DeFi, and I learn a lot more about the financial system, about how it's still the wild, wild west. CF likes to mention that DeFi is still the wild, wild west, and
He's
the
very
big
much
players
correct.
yeah, and that the big players are merely cowboys, and there's so much of gunfight and blood on the streets, and this is the best place to learn, because things in TradeFi, uh, there are a lot of things that are not possible to do right now in TradeFi, but decentralized finance, you can do all this, and this includes all the scams that have happened
Yeah.
back in the day in TradeFi. We were talking about Ponzi a few minutes
Yeah.
back.
Can you
So
imagine how many Ponzis you had in the Wild West back in the day?
I think people were aware in a different way because you didn't have trust in the same, like I've at least been taught to like you trust people in general, and you trust especially the authorities, and you trust the system. And in that sense, you can survive pretty long, I think, without getting fucked by some Ponzi or any scammer in general. But then you also become very vulnerable, most people. And it took a while to learn, but after a while, people learn. So I was thinking, like, even back in the days, I think if someone came to you and said, like, yeah, I'm a bank and this is a paper note, and then you really wanted to make sure to, like, okay, is this the real paper note?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just, yeah, okay, I'll take your paper note and your paper note and your paper note. Like, at a time, yeah, but like at a time you had like different central, like small banks giving out their notes, and you would have a different price depending on how far away from the bank you were. So if you were in the same city as the bank and someone gave you the note, then it would have one like value. But if you were in the next city, then it was like farther from the bank, so it had less value. Even if it was like $1, it was like, yeah, but still need to exchange this with the bank to get the gold or what the collateral that I have.
Oh,
So people understood, like, I don't know if they understood consciously, but at least the system worked that way.
makes sense. Yeah, I mean, with the internet, at least this factor of distance affecting the price is gone. With blockchain, it's more now about inter-blockchain
Yeah,
transfers. If something good is happening on Ethereum and you are based out of the Avalanche blockchain, then you have to spend gas fees
yeah,
to get into Ethereum, you know. So
yeah. And some
It's
of the
kind of the
bridge,
same.
yeah,
yeah,
I think,
fundamentals remain the same, I think.
yeah, the bridge, like if you want to get, I think it's
Yeah.
mostly with Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin is a good example. Like you can have wrapped Bitcoin on any of the other blockchains, but then there will
Yeah.
always need to you need it wouldn't be worth as much as a regular Bitcoin because you still need to get it through the same centralized actor in order to actually get the real
Get the Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
very
sure.
true.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have the same value. Never. I don't think so, at least. I might be wrong.
Well, that's
I'm never wrong. Who am I kidding?
you're never wrong.
I can't
There's
know.
one thing that I know that Badgerton always has an answer to anything he postulates, and he is very sure of his answer. So I guess you're not. You have to be sure that you're not wrong as well.
Yeah, King Kunta is more humble, so he's like, yeah,
King
I don't
Kunta
know,
is more humble.
but I actually know the
Yes.
99 things.
Yeah.
I am humble because I am still learning.
Yeah, if you already know everything, you don't need to learn anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
You
here to
just have to
teach.
fake
I'm here
to be
to
humble.
teach.
King Kunta, I have a question that we ask a lot of other people that I also want to ask
How
you.
big is your penis?
Yes.
Ah,
Everyone
it's
else
not
answers.
What is your favorite color of underwear? Do you have do you go for a fun underwear, or do you always go for one specific color?
What are you wearing right
it's
now?
usually darker shades.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Compliments my
classic.
Mm.
I love
Mm.
dark
Oh,
underwear.
tell
It's
me
the
more.
favorite. Tell us more.
Which texture?
I'd say the regular texture.
The
Mm.
regular
Can't
texture.
can't
Tight.
spend a lot on underwear these days.
You don't?
because there's a lot of blood on the streets.
Really?
You gotta spend on underwear wisely.
Yeah,
Mm.
true. You know,
What do you spend
when the
on?
market crash.
Do you have anything you like to spend money on?
Yeah, I'd probably say digital currencies.
Huh?
Mm.
Which one is your favorite?
For now,
Yeah.
I've closely started following Frax.
Yeah.
All
Mm.
thanks to Mr. Rock introducing me to Frax. He introduced me to Frax shares, and it was $6 worth. Now it's at it went to 45 and it's back at 20 now.
No.
But if I would have bought back when he told me to buy, probably would have tripled my money even in
Yeah.
this bloodbath.
Mm.
So,
It's the
but I'm
Cantillon
doing
effect, isn't it? A little bit. That Frax is close to the money.
Yes.
Yes. Frax is a very interesting concept, and they're introducing this new stable coin called FPI,
Yeah.
which would value its peg based on actual consumer demand and supply, and not just the US dollar, because the US dollar is not a trustworthy source, they say, anymore.
Yeah. Do they peg it to the consumer price index, or do they have their own index?
Yeah, the CPI for now.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they will, I guess, develop their own in the time to come. That's what I think I read in the thread
Yeah.
that
And
Mr.
that would
Rock
be
forwarded.
really interesting to see how we can build a peg. I'm still
Yeah.
saying peg it to the ground, but if we can peg it to something else,
Please peg it to the ground.
then I would be yeah. I think that's something that's needed for a stable coin to be not just stable but also like not lose money all the time.
Mm-hmm. It would be certainly an interesting experiment, and I hope this financial experiment ends up better than Wonderland.
Yeah. But I don't want to be mean to anyone. Shout out to Frax. But wasn't Wonderland kind of doomed? Wasn't it a scam? Like too much of a scam, Ponzi? It technically would, if everyone in the world switched over to Wonderland, then they would. What happens then? Like they always need more people in.
Yeah, I mean, I aped into Wonderland when CF mentioned and Wonderland, and I saw the insane APY on their
Yeah.
site. I got into Wonderland when it was worth $2,000,
Yeah.
and now when I look back at it, I don't want to look back at it. It is what it is. But yeah, the number I didn't pull out because there's no point in withdrawing the amount of money I have left over there. I rather it stay there, and probably in some good luck of mine, if it goes back to 2000, I'll probably think about withdrawing, but not now.
But otherwise, it's good to have them there as a reminder. If they don't recover, it's like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you need some way to remember next time someone there is in the Swedish police have a saying, and I want to say that it's true all the time, but most of the time, and it is, if something is too good to be true, then it probably is.
Yeah.
But I would put the emphasis on probably, because there actually are, like, arbitrage is one of those things where there is no drawback to it. If you find true arbitrage, then it actually is just too good. Like, you can just have it. There's no trick to it.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. If I would even go on record right now to say that I messed up the options arbitrage in my own terms, but if I would have completed it, held my nerves, and waited till the end of the expiry, would have really made a lot of money off the arbitrage.
Oh.
But
But, you know,
yeah,
I think it's the nature of things and nature of learning new things. You know, there's always going to be areas that you don't even know exists, and risks, etc.
Yeah. It looks, yeah.
Regardless of what you do, the problem maybe is that when you learn finance and you learn markets, you usually lose money when you learn things.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if you may maybe hurt yourself if you're trying a new sport, you're going to fall a certain amount of time. That's another kind of lesson, and it's pain instead. But here it's financial pain, maybe.
Yeah.
That's just the nature.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to university to learn something, you're losing time, right?
Yeah. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's always
Aren't you
that
studying at university right now?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm studying to become a doctor.
Mm.
Don't know how that will go.
That's very middle class. Making your
Yeah.
parents proud now. Becoming a doctor.
Oh, you guys also resonate with this field
Yes.
We
in
studied
Sweden?
university.
My mom's a
Engineering.
doctor.
Yes. Mom is very proud of
Oh.
me being an engineer. Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to mom. My uncles are also doctors. Shout out to them.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Then if I fail in India, I can always pack my bags and come to Sweden and
Yeah, we need a lot of
Yes.
doctors. But
We
I
do.
think the
find
EU,
some people who
something with
welcome me.
EU, you would need to make the tests again, I think.
Yeah,
I think
was
if you want
reading-
to come to Europe, King Kunta, you should come as a crypto entrepreneur instead.
Yes.
I think you'll have much more fun.
Yeah. Go to Berlin.
Go
Say
to
that you
Berlin.
founded a crypto company once and you're looking for some fun.
I can probably pitch for decentralized medical insurance.
Yes,
Yeah, there
you
will,
could-
yeah.
just create a new Ponzi, Kunta. You get your medical degree, and then you can also say, well, I have 5 years of experience. I'm a core contributor at ShineDAO. We've incubated a lot of projects. I know
Yeah.
exactly how to run a crypto project. And you sell the ideas to some investors that has too much cash, and then you're
Yeah.
an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Then you just need
Nice.
to download
Mhm.
your share on to some other VCs that come in at a later stage. But your first VC, if they're a good Ponzi scheme creator, they will know how to dump your stocks on a new VC later on. That's
Yeah.
usually how it goes.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's the nature of things.
Interesting. Yeah. I should definitely look into that.
Yeah. I think you're
Yeah,
doing
but I
well,
was-
like
You're-
the way
you're
that you
doing great.
described it in the beginning, like trying to help out, doing good stuff. I think it's when we're talking a lot about like wealth, how to get the wealth and da 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 da. But it's also like, okay, once you get the wealth, then what? Like, what do you do then? Most people want to have fun, they want to feel meaning, there are some things that most people at least seem to be seeking. And if you found few of these things already, then that's just great.
Then
Uh,
the money will come sooner or later. Always.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. If you do something you love and that brings value to other people, and you also have understood the system that you're working in, I mean, hard work, man. No, but like seriously, like if you think that it's fun, then you're winning. You're winning. Then you're not losing. And I'm not saying this as a do what you love, but like if you're doing something that really gets you motivated, then it's a good sign at least that you're you're focusing on the
Yeah.
right thing.
It's the dopamine that counts.
Yeah, it's
Not
the
the
fucking
Yes.
dopamine, man.
Follow the
Yeah.
dopamine.
Follow the
dope.
dopamine. Yeah, follow.
Always.
Yeah. But there is a
I
trick
mean-
to it.
Is there?
Yeah, I mean there are two ways to handle the fact that you have a dopamine system. One is to always try to get the fast kick out of the dopamine. I mean there are a lot of ways. One is to get wealth so that you can get like drugs, women, interesting stuff happening all the time. To
Buy a
feed-
boat.
Buy a boat.
that-
Yeah.
I know money.
Get
I
your
think money
son
itself was supposed
to-
to be a dopamine boost.
Yeah. I mean, gambling, all of these things. There's a reason why some people are really good at gambling. And another way is to learn that like you can postpone the reward, and if you can learn to focus on, I think you know this as in India, like there's a like you can have space instead of like reward. If you just put your mind on a specific and focus,
Mhm.
then that becomes very meditative. It's in itself. And if you can find a way to do that while you're working, like to really focus your attention on one thing, then you will have another type of fulfillment, and the dopamine will come. Like instead of all the time grasping for the dopamine and then it going back to the regular levels, you kind of push it down a little bit, and then the
Yeah.
system will raise it even for you.
That is true. That is true. I don't know if you say this after reading some neuroscience journal articles, but what
He
you said
knows
is
everything
exactly.
already, King Kunta.
Yeah,
forget.
it's God. I'm all knowing,
This
omnipotent.
is an actual scientific phenomenon called upregulation that happens when dopamine levels decrease. The receptors for dopamine in your body increase to make your body more sensitive to the smaller amounts of dopamine and get the work done for the time being until the dopamine comes back. And when it comes back, you get the rush.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
So what
Buddhist.
you said, Badge, is scientifically approved. It is FDA
Boom.
approved and
Boom.
ready to roll.
Yes. Can we make this now? Just work really hard, and it's good for you.
Yeah.
Focus
I mean,
on one.
there is no alternative to hard work. I've been under a lot of I'd say competitive environments. That is the nature of uh, things here in India. It's a huge population, and everyone wants to mm, become a doctor or an engineer, and the seats are limited in the university. So the exams that you have to crack are really competitive, to the point that if let's say in millions, if 10 million, not 10 million, I'd say 0.1 million students appear for the exam, then only 50,000 make it every year. So that's quite a bottleneck, and that is one exam that I excelled to get into university, and after university I have to appear in another such similar exam, and I only have around this is 2022, so I have around a year and a half to prepare for this.
Oof.
And when I think about it, going back and doing the grinding all over again, when I sit with my coursework, when I'm with my preparation, and after a good 4 to 6 hours of hardcore studying, I get that dopamine rush, but it's not uh, disciplined, And
No.
when I see others who probably are not as smart, but they are disciplined and they sit every day, they make it up, make sure that they will sit with their coursework for 4 hours every day. They are performing just as well, if not better, than their smarter counterparts
Yeah.
on these examinations. So hard work does uh, pay out in the long run.
It
Smartness
does.
is risky. Smartness is volatile.
Yeah.
Hard work is Bitcoin, and smartness is, I'd say, Dogecoin.
Yeah.
About something like this.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It's fun.
King
I
King
think
Kunta, we're out of time. Really.
Ah, that
Yeah,
was
it's. I
that
think
was quite a
we'll have
second,
to
I'd say.
end on the Bitcoin Dogecoin analogy, maybe, and make
you
sure
would
that
want,
we
yeah.
get more hour out of you, more time out of you. This was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is really
I'm
rewarding.
always ready. I'm always
Very
ready
nice.
to go on and talk shit with the two
Yes, yes,
legendary
sir.
shit
Super nice.
talkers in Shine, and I meant that in a good way.
Admit
Yeah, well,
that you prepared. Admit that you prepared.
Mhm. I was not. I just spoke my mind. That's what I said I would, and I did just
Yeah,
that.
I think you did.
I
I
think
think
you did, man.
yeah, it's a
All
lot of
right.
experiences. It's 20 years of life, 24 years of life, being vomited out in 1.5 hours time.
Yeah, but we have
So
more. I think
We
there's way more to
we have
figure out.
plenty of time. We have plenty of time. All right, I'm gonna need to jump out pronto because I have a meeting that just started now, actually. So
all right, don't get late.
holy shit, man!
Uh,
young boy.
I'll see you
Craig
guys.
is recording. Shout out to
Okay.
Craig.